What is good, guys? M.V.K here, back again. So I decided to do this because it was important, I guess, to do for you guys, and I'm sure there was many of you that wanted to hear my thoughts on X-Men 97. That's why I'm wearing my X-Men shirt, as you can see right now. Yeah. So we're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about I'm going to give my thoughts on the first two episodes of X-Men 97. Also, maybe give you guys a little bit of info on maybe some things in the show that you were wondering, and things like that. I'm going to try not to spoil a lot, even if you haven't seen it. So I'm going to try hard. I'm going to try my best. But if there's a spoiler, I'll let you know, and then you can either mute the video or whatever so you don't hear it, okay? So, bottom line, the first two episodes were great. I'm going to just put it up there. Certified fresh. Indeed. It was like old times. It was like old times. Old times, guys. It was just watching a show where it left off and it continuing now. And continuing. So it was really, really great to see that. Even the opening was even great. So shouts out to them for keeping that classic opening and that theme of the X-Men. The first episode, we saw a few things in there in the first episode that really made me go like this, and just made me, first and foremost, I'll say this right now, hearing Cal Dodd as Wolverine again was such a pleasure and such a treasure, because whenever I read Wolverine comics, that's the voice I hear. That's the voice I hear, Cal Dodd and his strong Canadian accent coming out, and I'm like, yep, that's Wolverine. I'm sorry, I don't hear all the other Scott McNeil, Steve Bloom, all those. I don't hear that. I hear Cal Dodd. It was great to hear some of the original cast members come back to do their voice. The opening between the Friends and Humanity in the first episode was really cool. Seeing Cyclops come in there, I'll give Cyclops credit, came in there like a G, and him basically, you see him actually fighting hand to hand for a while, and how he was using his optic blast was really cool. I actually liked that. Storm looking like a pure goddess as always, and you guys know me, I love her with the mohawk, I love it, and that was great too. But we get to see an interesting character in the first episode, which was really cool. We get to see Roberto da Costa, aka Sunspot. So it was really cool to see Sunspot in that episode. Gives you hope that maybe we'll see the rest of the New Mutants. We already did in the previous season. We did see. Remember, Cannonball guest starred in an episode. We did get to see him. So hopefully we'll see. You can say we've seen Illyana. We did see her. Hopefully Illyana's mutant powers will kick in. And we're missing. No, we have Wolves. No, we already saw Wolvesbane. We saw Wolvesbane already. She's part of X Factor, and so. But yeah, the first episode was really good. It just brought back memories, and there were some scenes that they already previewed, but I did like how they incorporated. They also incorporated another known X-Men, X Factor mutant ally, Valerie Cooper. I was happy they put Val Cooper in. For anybody who doesn't know who I'm talking about, Val Cooper was the blonde with the glasses that you saw Cyclops and them talking to. She's been a long time standing ally of the X-Men and X Factor and people like that. So it was really cool to see Val Cooper, Valerie Cooper, Val. I did like the concept between, Jean and Cyclops thinking about maybe leaving because, they're about to have a baby. But Jean, I say Jean, because I will explain that. Okay. So, but outside of that first episode was really good. It was perfect. And then that fight between Master Mold and the Sentinels, we saw that, but it was great just seeing them come together, seeing all the X-Men shine, especially Storm. And what I loved about that first episode, they acknowledged something that I've been wanting to see them acknowledge in this series of X-Men for a long time. They acknowledged Storm as an Omega level mutant. When she came down, when the Sentinels, Cyclops said, "Bring the Storm," and she comes down and wipes out the Sentinels, it was just like, there you go. There's the Storm that I love. And but before that, I just loved all the camaraderie between the X-Men. Like, you can say what you want about other teams, nobody does tag team moves like the X-Men. Seeing Gambit charge up Wolverine's claws, kinetically charge, and having morph into the Blob, and him bouncing up, and then Wolverine just cutting off Master Mold's head. That was dope. I was like, that's the X-Men. That was great. I loved it. I thought that was so great. And I liked the camaraderie between Jubilee and Sunspot. They kind of look like they could be maybe hooking them up, because in this, Sunspot is he's young. He's young, and he did show his power a little bit. He showed it, and I was glad they actually showed it where he charged up, and you saw it was like solar, but his body was black, pretty much what it's supposed to be. And I love where he brings up that his parents don't know, and he talks about how he talks a little bit about his powers, like I can absorb solar radiation and it makes me very strong and things like that. There's so much that they could do with Sunspot and more. If you guys really want to know the real true extent of Sunspot's powers, just look them up and just look at the list of things this guy can do, and then you may start wondering, why isn't he on a Mega level meeting? But yeah, so it was really cool to see that, and I did like the camaraderie between Jubilee and Sunspot. I even like when they were at the club. I thought that was really cool. They were at the club and they were dancing together, so that was fun. And then that leads us at the end. We saw the X-Men playing basketball, which was great. Hopefully we would get a baseball game as well, because the X-Men love to play baseball as well. And we saw, and of course that's when Magneto comes in, and he basically gives the X-Men the last will and testament from Professor Xavier. And that is that everything, his fortune, everything is left to Eric Magnus Lencher, Magneto. Okay, and that throws us into episode 2. Episode 2 just picks up and gives us a lot, which I love. So we see Magneto saving people, but people are really scared. They're like, yo, he's still a terrorist at heart, and he still needs to answer for his crimes. The X-Men don't trust him. Why should they? Why really should they? But he was in his goofy looking purple look that he's had in the comics. Everything is about this series that you can clearly see the writers are pulling from the source material. So if there's anybody out there that has an issue with everything that's going on, you shouldn't, because it's pulling right from the comics, just like the original series did. And in this episode, in episode 2 alone, they pulled from several different storylines. So basically, as we saw in episode 2, which I enjoyed, we see that Carly Cooper and the UN come to take Magneto. And at first it looked like he's not going to go, but then he says, okay, I'll go. But still, the point is, the X-Men don't trust him. And then we see something that I had no clue. I didn't think they were going to bring up, but they did. They brought up Magneto and Rogue's relationship. When I saw that, I was like, no, they did. And I'm just like, ooh, they brought that up. And that was interesting. And basically Rogue is like, don't tell anybody. Like, she doesn't want them knowing. That's crazy. I was like, they brought that up. They brought up Rogue and Magneto's relationship, which I've never really been fond of. I know they really went deep with it in Age of Apocalypse, but I never was a big fan of it. I was like, he's old enough to be your dad. So, but no, it was really cool to see that. I did like that. And from there, we see the trial of, once again, pulling from the source material. You see the trial of Magneto. And he goes on record. He doesn't, what I loved about him when he was able to talk in the UN, Magneto does not come out and say it, but if you know the character as well as I do, you know his religion, and he gives you a clue of to who he doesn't say it out right straightforward, but he does say, he basically is saying to them, like, look, I was in a concentration, I'm Jewish. He never says it, but you hear him say it's like I was in a concentration camp, I was ransacked because of my false belief in my religion and things like that, and then my own people turned against me because they looked at me as a monster and things like that. That was clue. That was great. I enjoyed that. He didn't necessarily say, I'm a Jewish mutant, yada yada. No, but listen to how he said it, and you get what he's saying. So that was interesting. Now, from there, we see that the Friends of Humanity and another person, they're trying to incite a riot because they don't believe Magneto deserves a fair trial, you know. And there's a guy in there that I'm sure a lot of people, and I've been posting it on all my social media accounts, because I'm sure there's probably a lot of people that don't know who that character was. There was a guy who was in a mask, he had a gun, and he beat the crap out of Cyclops. Yeah, he fucked Cyclops up. Let's put that out there. And so this guy right here that you see, he said his name, Executioner. He's a real character. So anybody out there that's wondering if this character is fake, he's an original character just for the show, no. He's actually, again, they're pulling from the source material. The Executioner is a former FBI agent, and he first debuted in 1993 in Uncanny X-Men annual number 17, I believe. He was created by Scott Liddell, and I'm forgetting the other person that created him. But yeah, that's where he debuted. That's his debut. So this character right here is not fake. He's real, and we get to see him throw down with the X-Men. I did like seeing Morph fight him, because Morph was morphed into so many different characters. Morphed into Lady Deathstrike, and when he tried to shoot morphed into Colossus, and then from Colossus he morphed into Psylocke, and that was really cool. And then after that, Cyclops got his butt handed to him. Yeah, Cyclops got beat up after that because they were trying to get to Magneto. The ending of the whole segment of episode 2 is crazy because Jean goes into labor. So imagine a telekinetic having contractions. What do you think is going to happen? That was pretty cool to see. She's having contractions and parts of Wolverine's Jeep is getting thrown apart. It was really interesting. That was crazy. But we see something else happening that's pulled right from the comics. The Executioner gets a shot. He had a rifle in his hand that was a special made rifle, and he's aiming at Magneto. And unfortunately Storm saw it, and it shoots Storm right in the back. Right in the back. They show it too. They don't cut away. They literally see Storm get shot in the back. But it was a special bullet. Something happens to Storm. Now, this is where I should say, you guys, if you don't want to be spoiled, cut the video or mute it right now. So I'll give you time. Alright, if You still here? That means you don't mind. You saw it, you know what happened. Storm loses her powers. Storm loses her powers. That's pulled directly from the comics. When Storm lost her powers, she was rocking her mohawk and her leather jacket look, her biker look. So hopefully we actually see that. And I love the scene where Magneto, he's just like, you know what, screw this. And he pulls Carly Cooper and a few of the other UN delegates and the Executioner up into space. And he looked like he's going to drop them. And he starts to remember what he, in a sense, the whole idea of what this was. And she's trying to look at it from Professor Xavier's point of view. So I like that. That was a beautiful scene too. I really enjoyed that. But prior to that, Rogue took Cyclops to the hospital. And even in the hospital, the doctors were saying, oh, we don't allow mutants. And Wolverine's about to cut this doc's head off. And he's basically saying, you guys got powers, and if you have a contraction, and he's making some sense. But I did like when Rogue came and she zapped him. She took his medical, experience to deliver a baby, and I love that Rogue. They trusted Rogue to, she was scared. I did like that too. She still was very scared. She's like, if I touch this child, he could die, and they're like, Rogue, we trust you. I did like that. So I love the fact that Rogue delivered the baby, and we see Jean name the baby. And here we go again. This is a spoiler for you all. So here we go. I'll give you 5 seconds. All right. For anybody out there that was wondering if that's Jean or not, that's not Jean. When they said the baby's name, Nathaniel Charles Summers, baby Cable. That's Cable that was just born. Now, Cable, his father is Cyclops, yes, but his mother is not Jean Grey. His mother is Jean, but not Jean. She goes under the name Madeline Pryor, the Goblin Queen. She's the clone of Jean Grey. That Jean that gave birth to the baby, that's Madeline Pryor. And after that, we see and after that, what happens later? After Jean basically reads a letter to the rest of the team that Storm has left. She got on a bus and left, because Beast told her it could be permanent. The weapon that she got shot with is the same kind of technology that they used, the Genosians used to use to suppress their powers. It's just more concentrated. And Beast was told Storm, we need more. We don't know how long it's gonna last. The point is, by the end of the episode, what happened? Morph brings up a line, says, oh, she'll come back. See, the door bell rings, they go, and who falls into Morph's arm? Jean. Right off the rip. They did in 2 episodes. And it already had people hooked, including myself. That's how you hook somebody. 3 cliffhangers, 3 storylines already mixed already. You got Storm losing her power, coming straight out of the comics. You got the relationship between Magneto and Rogue. That's right from the comic source material. The trial of Magneto, right from the source material. The Executioner, pulled again. More and more, they are Marvel and the writing crew, the creative team. They did their homework. They pulled right from the source material, and I'm glad they're doing that. I am so happy that they're doing that, because that is just perfect. And it makes you wonder where Storm is gonna. Makes me wonder where Storm's gonna go. And with the Madeline, and we all know Sinister is gonna be in this, and so it's gonna be great to see, because as soon as they saw that Jean, they turned around and looked at the other Jean, and the look on her face. And what's even more, and this is the sad part right here, Remy Gambit, he saw Rogue come out of Magneto's chambers, and the look on his face, Gambit was hurt. He was so hurt, and he was crying. You could see his class, because Gambit got the black and pink eyes, but you could see how watery they were. Like, Rogue hurt him, and I'm like, oh, this ain't gonna be good. And it makes me wonder what's gonna happen. Will Gambit betray the X-Men? I hope he doesn't. I hope they don't pull, because that's another something that they pull from the comics. So I'm hoping that's not. But the bottom line, guys, the first two episodes were certified fresh, in my opinion. They did so much in 60 minutes, because each episode is like 30 minutes. 60 minutes, they nailed it. 2 episodes down, 8 more to go, because I think it's only 10 episodes. Please keep this going. What I will do, I will continue to review, give my thoughts on every episode up until the end. But as of right now, this made me so happy. And everybody plays their part really well. I love that Bishop is there. They acknowledge that Bishop, he's staying in the... You can still see Bishop. They had Bishop's armbar, and I was wondering, I'm like, wait, how come Bishop can't go, remember if they removed his arm, that he would go back to his time. Here, they may have to explain that better. But outside of that, Bishop looked great. Everybody just looked great. I love how they got Morph in this. I'm not complaining about nothing, because everything is being pulled from the source material, and that makes me happy. I love it. Guys, please tell me, start the conversation in the comment down below. Tell me, what did you think? How did you like the first 2 episodes of X-Men 97? What do you think is coming? But after that cliffhanger, yeah, Madame Pryor is here. And it's going to be interesting, because people are coming to me asking me, is that the real Jean? I'm like, yep, that's the real Jean. That's the real Jean. That Jean that got pregnant by Cyclops, that's the fake. That's Madeline Pryor. This is going to be good. I can't wait till next Wednesday, because that's going to be crazy. Anyway, guys, you guys take care. I'll see you guys next time. As always, hope you guys enjoyed my thoughts on the first 2 episodes of X-Men 97, because I sure as hell did. A nerdgasm to the 10th power, indeed. Y'all take care.